Hi.
Hello.
We are on the road, kind of.
Yeah, we're actually off the road. The last two times we tried to record on the road, we had so many problems. The first time was on Tuesday. Uh, I thought Tim was recording, and then Wednesday he tells me he messed up and only got part of it. So that we threw out that episode. Then yesterday we had a pretty good episode for the first 18 minutes. Then I got caught up with detours on my drive, and then I got lost and had to put the GPS, and it kind of ruined our whole episode because Tim doesn't know how to edit. So here we are, off the road, but this episode is going to be for the On the Road series. This episode all started with Tim asking me what's the worst movie I ever saw, and just like that, in 1 second, I was just like, Lucy. So Lucy from 2014 was the worst movie I ever saw.
Man, and you'd think a movie like that would be a career killer, but no, dude, they're gonna keep on casting her in everything.
Yeah. Now, like last time, why I was saying that I hated the movie so much was because the whole premise of the movie was if we used more than 10% of our brain. But I always knew since I was a kid that that was just some old wives' tale or tall tale or whatever you want to call it. 'Cause I knew since I was a kid because I read about it that we're always using some part of our brain. We use our whole brain, and our brain takes up like 20% of our energy or something like that. I think it's 20%. But we're always using our entire brain, so that triggered me. Now, the only reason I seen the movie was because I was going with my brother and my two older cousins, and I think it was like a few days before I got my license. Maybe close to like a week before I got my license, and we were going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. So my older cousin drives. He's maybe like 5 years older than me or something. He was driver, and so we went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, but we're idiots, so we didn't plan it right. So when we got there, they're like, "Oh, we're all sold out." So then I was like, "I guess we'll turn around and go."
You're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, what was the last thing you heard?
Let's turn around and go home.
Oh yeah, so I was like, "Let's turn around and go home." And my cousin's like, "No, we gotta watch a movie. We're here." I'm like, "Seriously? We're like 10 minutes from my house. Like we could have turned around." And he's like, "Okay, we're gonna see Lucy." I was like, "I don't want to see Lucy." He's like, "We either see Lucy or you wait outside the theater or you walk home." And it would have taken me like 2 hours to walk home. So I was like, "Screw it, I'll watch this movie." But I ended up having to spend birthday money because this was July, and all I had on me was like a gift card that I was going to use to get my ticket for the movie. So I had to use my gift card to see Lucy, and I had to pay for my little brother to see Lucy. So that was my birthday money got spent on Lucy. That whole movie annoyed me, man. I wanted to shoot myself.
Oh my god, like I was really excited to see Lucy at first, and I don't even think I heard about it until after it came out of theaters. It was my buddy Corey, who I've done Timon Show episodes with. He was going on and on and on about it, and and I was like, well, that sounds interesting, dude. Like, I ended up checking it out with my cousin, like a year and a half ago, like right after I broke my hand, and
I'm free to have bad taste in movies.
but I was excited to see it because it reminded me of Limitless, and I really liked Limitless a lot. That was about a drug that allowed you to amplify your thought process and everything, and that movie was cool. It was about a struggling writer. Then he takes the Limitless drug and he fucking writes his novel in a day. He cleans he writes his whole entire novel like real quick. Fucking he cleans his whole apartment. He fucking gets his life together off of one dose. And I'm all like, whoa, shit, dude. But then he crashes real hard and he's all like, oh fuck, dude, this shit sucks. But I want to keep taking more if I want to. And it's really good. They had a spin-off series it's like a sequel series at like Showtime I think had, but then it got canceled after the first season. But it was really good. I don't know why it got canceled. And then
I don't know. It doesn't sound like my thing.
it's not everybody's thing, but it was really good, and it's a lot better. It's a lot better written than Lucy is, or whatever. And then when you go into the show and stuff, it goes into more detail about how everything
I don't
works.
even feel I don't even feel Lucy was written. I feel they were like, we gotta make the stupidest movie possible. So like a few people said ideas and they couldn't agree on which idea to go with. They filmed like one scene from everybody's stupid idea and then they pasted it together.
I mean, that's how I think a lot of the big time stuff works. You have a room of writers, and they're just throwing around shit, you know, and
I
then
think that's more for shows than movies.
yeah, and Lucy probably would have been a great like a little 2 season television show instead of a whatever 2 hour movie. Stretch that stuff out a little bit longer or whatever. Back it up with more science instead of like what was the chemical they were doing? It was something that you're born with, and it reduce and it, it was something that like the chemical like deteriorates as you grow older, but they were like extracting it from babies or some shit to.
Honestly, I've been trying to forget as much of that movie as I possibly can, so I forget that detail. But well, now that you mention that, but seriously, that movie was so stupid. I'm trying to forget I ever wasted money on it.
Man, before I talk about my least favorite movie, which after we recorded last night, I was thinking, I'm like, dude, there's a lot of shitty movies that I didn't like. So I really might not be Space Jam. But I had a similar movie theater experience with you then like a couple of years ago. Dragon Ball Z had a movie coming to theaters. It was animated or whatever. It was the Resurrection of Frieza. And we were all excited. I was hanging out at Corey's house. We were all excited. I went and bought like 5 tickets on Fandango. And then Corey's little brother came by and he's all like, "Oh, I want to see the shit too." I was like, "Well, I already bought a bunch of tickets. We're on our way out there now." We drove out there, and tickets for Resurrection of Frieza was sold out. So then Corey's all like, "I'm not gonna go. Me and my brother we're gonna watch another movie." And then we bought tickets for the next showing of Resurrection of Frieza, and I'm like, "All right." So we watched the movie. Like me and the 4 people I have with me, or whatever, watching the movie, and then I go and find Corey inside of Fantastic Four, the one that came out recently with Michael B. Jordan and whatever, and that movie. I only saw the second half of it because like by the time I walked into their theater or whatever, it was like halfway done, and I was like, this movie looks like it's absolute garbage, and
Fantastic Four starts good, but then it got like so trash.
See, and I saw it at the trash part where I was all like, "What the fuck?" Like when they were just getting into the like getting out of the negative zone and all sorts of shit. I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Nah, dude, trust me. This is how it went with Fantastic Four. I'd seen who they cast as everybody, and I was like, "This movie's gonna be so stupid, but I'm gonna go anyways."
Yeah.
So I went with my brother. We went and saw Fantastic Four. It starts, and I'm like, "This movie is not bad so far." We get a few minutes in, I'm like, "This movie is good." And then, like, everyone had such good chemistry and stuff, and I was like, I actually love this movie. And then Doom, he comes back, and he just looks at people, and he blows up their heads. But then when it comes to the Fantastic Four, he's throwing fists. So I'm like, this was so dumb. There's no reason they should be fighting right now. He should just kill them all. That's why it was terrible.
They never do Doom justice, and it pisses me off because he's my all-time favorite supervillain. Next to he's kind of tied with Green Goblin, but I really love Doctor Doom and like everything he represents, dude. Like he's like there's never like he's ruined by plot armor, and almost every single time he's got some sort of dynamic plan, dude. The only reason he ever loses is because he's the bad guy and he has to. But like other than that, dude, like a lot of his shit seems like it's like he's like a mastermind, you know, like.
Yeah, like another bad movie I had seen recently was I forget the name of it, But it's that one with the dude from 13 Reasons Why. His name in that show was Clay. He's like the main dude in this other movie. It's a Netflix original. I forget the name.
I forgot the name of that movie too.
That one was so stupid. Like that's probably like the worst horror movie I ever seen. Like I can't even start to explain how stupid it was. Nobody in there acted like a normal person, and like I had seen the trailer for that movie, and the trailer looked super good. So the trailer sold me,
right?
Especially because my mom, since like the mid 2000s, I believe, she shows houses and does open houses and stuff. So I seen that it was. So like I start the movie and I see that it's. After a few minutes, you get an idea of what's going on, and the lady and her son are living in a house, and they're I think it's her sister's house. I think I'm pretty sure it's her sister's house.
Yeah, I was confused during that whole plot. I was like, are they moving into the house? Are they selling the house? Because it doesn't seem like they lived here. Like they got people greeting them, like, oh yeah, it's nice to have people in the house or whatever. I'm like, but they're selling the. So go on. Sorry.
No, I think she was trying to. I think she moved into her sister's house that her sister owned, and she was trying to sell it, and then they were going to move somewhere else. So they live there. They leave during the day, and a lady comes in, and she shows everyone the house, and that's what my mom does. My mom goes to houses and. People come in and my mom greets them and shows them around the house and tells them about it. So I was like, okay, I know a little bit about this stuff. I was like, this will make for an interesting movie. And it was not. Like, there was one point where her son puts his phone on the charger. 2 minutes later, it's missing. And if that were me, I would have been freaking out. I'd be like, it's only me and my mom home. My mom's off in the other room. Who took my phone? But no, he just acts like nothing's up. Like, he's probably around my age, too. He's probably around 20 or so. And he's not freaking out over a missing phone, especially when you're one of the only two people in the house.
Yeah.
So the other one couldn't have taken it.
So spoiler alert for this movie. So like when he finds out the one dude is dead in his car, and then the killer dude knocks him out and then dumps the water on him so he'll freeze or whatever. When he wakes back up and he's all frozen and shit, and he goes upstairs, like, why doesn't he take off his fucking freezing ass clothes? His body will warm up quicker and all sorts of. I'm like, why the fuck are you keeping your freezing ass fucking clothes on, dude? Take your shirt off at least, dude. You'll fucking be a lot warmer. Get the seriously,
dude. Oh man,
and it would have worked. It would have worked for the female audience because he's not a bad looking dude, and he probably he's probably decently in shape. It would have been eye candy for the female demographic, and it would have worked in all sorts of ways. He's walking around freezing cold, wearing his fucking soaking wet, fucking icicle clothes and shit. I'm like,
that scene pissed me off so much because I forget where he walks off to in the house, and he comes back, and his friend's missing. So he's looking for him, and I'm like, all right, where'd the dude go? Because I'm thinking maybe the dude saw something, he went to get help. Then he finds the dude murdered in his car, and I'm like, the whole scene didn't make sense to me, because I'm like, why did he go to his car? And if he had seen something, why was there, like, no noise? And how did... If he seen something and went to his car so he could dip, how did he get murdered in his car? Like, none of it made sense to me. Like, you would have figured at some point there would have been noise, there would have been something, but he goes from the living room to the car without a noise, without a reason, and then he ends up murdered in his car. Yeah. So how did the killer get in the car?
They could have showed us all of that in like a quick 3-minute scene, like the dude waking up, going outside, hearing something. Like, that could have all been taken care of in fucking 3 minutes, you know, fucking. And, yeah, they don't address that at all, like, of what happened and what, like, I get that they're trying to keep a lot of mystery and they don't want you to show, like, I was watching something yesterday, it was about how, it was about 13 Reasons Why, and about how it caused, more suicide and stuff than it was trying to prevent and talk about or whatever, because it kept it because there's one thing you don't want to do when you're showing the shit on TV or whatever. You don't want to show how it's done or like how the character that did kill themselves did it or whatever. And and then there was a bunch of other things too. I can like it was basically showing like when you're talking about suicide, you want to talk about like the least amount of details of the person that did it as possible. So like they might have been taking that aspect into this horror realm where you want to keep a mystery of how this killer is even getting it around. Like he has no motive at all. Like 'cause we don't know, we never see him. We don't know who he is.
love that mystery. I love the mystery when you don't know the motive, you don't know how he's getting around,
Yeah,
but you can't have so many plot holes.
yeah,
Like okay, I like the part where the murderer was like with the mom and he was like breaking her fingers and all that. I thought that was cool. But then after the Clay dude, I'm just gonna call him Clay because I forget his name in the movie. But after Clay was outside and then he hears his mom calling him from inside the house and he knows the killer's there. Nothing after that made sense. First of all, he could have ran, he could have got police, he could have got to the neighbors, he could have done something. But then he goes inside, so I'm like, all right, he wants to save his mom. Because then I'm like, okay, fine. Debatable of a good decision because maybe if he leaves, then she'll die. But then he goes inside the house and she's calling him, and she sounds like she's coming from upstairs. But as soon as he's upstairs, her voice is coming from downstairs.
yeah,
So he goes to the basement, and then it's just stupid because she would call his name and then wait 5 minutes and then call his name again. And then he has like a little light or something and he has like a knife ready. And then when he's right next to her and doesn't know, then she calls his name. And so he jumps and stabs her on accident. But I'm like, that should have never happened because she's not the one with all the wet clothes, you know? Like, he didn't dump water on her. So she could have been steady the whole time. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. That's what I would have been doing for that
yeah.
whole couple minutes. But no, when he gets right next to her and she could obviously see the light, then she wants to scream. And then he stabs her. And I was like, this is so stupid.
I could sort of see like how like the person who was writing this or like the people who were writing this, like they had an idea. It's gonna be like a mix between Strangers and Scream because it sort of had that aspect of what because Strangers was a really good horror movie. I don't really like a lot of horror movies, but I really liked Strangers. Huh?
I seen Strangers a long time ago, and I remember what happens, but not with too much detail. But I understand the comparison.
Yeah, it was basically just a bunch of people in masks that were haunting these people in the cabin or whatever. There's always cabin shit. I've stayed at cabins my whole life, and they've never been scary.
I don't think I've ever been in a cabin, but yeah, I don't know. They kind of seem creepy to me.
That's because you grew up on horror. And
you know, I didn't even grow up on horror. I only seen like a couple of horror movies before I actually started to like horror. Like growing up, scary stuff. Like I would be so annoyed. I'd be like, nope, I hate everything scary. It wasn't until I was like 16 I started watching The Walking Dead, and then I was like, this is cool. I started reading the comics, and then I got into more horror stuff. And now I pretty much like everything that's scary.
Walking Dead is more action horror, and I can get in with some action horror. It's usually the supernatural horror stuff that makes me laugh a lot, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like when you got stuff like Exorcist or Ouija, or a lot of that type of shit just makes me laugh. Like Chucky or Child's Play 1 through 3. Those were my favorite horror movies as a kid, and.
Oh man, the thing about horror is like I was listening to an interview with author Joe Hill. He writes Lock and Key from IDW, and he also writes novels too. Like he's written I think his latest book is called Strange Weather. I have it on my dresser. I just haven't started it yet. But I was listening to an interview with him, and he blew my mind because he mainly writes like scary stuff and like other kind of oddball things, but I think he's mostly horror. And So someone was asking him like where he gets like a lot of his ideas from, and he was like, honestly, from jokes or from comedy. And I'm like, how do you even make that connection? And then he said something like, a lot of the things in horror movies and comedies are the same thing. It's just how they present them. And then he's like, in The Three Stooges, someone gets hit on their head and laughs. But then in like a horror movie, someone gets hit on their head and you get scared. And I was like, that is so true. Like, that's why some horror stuff makes me just straight laugh now. Because like, when you think about it that way, a lot of horror becomes funny.
That did kind of just blow my mind. It's like you get inspired to do one genre, but your inspiration comes from a whole completely different other genre. It's like the exact opposite. Like that's mind blowing right now. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of more terrible movies. I remember when we tried to record this, you brought up Space Jam.
Space
I haven't
Jam.
seen it since I was a kid.
Space Jam. There's other movies that are similar to Space Jam. Like you got Batman and Robin, and I think all the first four Batman, all of those were basically fucking hour and a half long toy commercials. And
Dude, the best Batman movie is Batman from 1989.
that one's really good. That one's not a toy commercial. That one's really good. It's got all the Batman villains that they've shown on the Adam West TV show, and then they all team up. Whatever, they dehydrate the UN. I love that part where they all turn into fucking different colored powder and shit. Fucking-
Batman 1989. It's an all-time classic movie.
I love that movie. Oh my god. That is my Batman.
Dude, same.
That's my.
Nothing beats. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't mean that this the other Batman movies or actors or whatever, but that was like the all-time best Batman performance.
Last night I was watching an interview with the kid from Gotham. He's 17 now, and apparently he has the same birthday canonically as Bruce Wayne. So that's pretty cool coincidence that happened to actually happen. And then he was talking about, like, if someone asked him what Batman do you think you're gonna grow up to be, or whatever, or what Batman do you think you're, and he said he's most likely gonna be the Christian Bale Batman, and I was upset, and I was like, no, I did the fucking Darth Vader in episode 3, fucking no.
I don't know. Since you brought up Star Wars, episode 1 I really don't like, besides a couple scenes.
That's a bad movie. It's gotten the worst reviews probably out of any Star Wars movie. It's a bad movie. And I saw that shit when it was in theaters when I was like in the 6th grade. And
You sound so old now.
I saw it in theaters and I liked it when I saw it in theaters, because I didn't really know much about shit back then. But I'm also not gonna. There were a lot of movies I saw as a kid that were terrible, like Neverending Story 2. I hated as a kid, but then I watched it like maybe like 10 years ago, and I liked it a lot. And then I don't know, but I didn't know a lot of some movies were trash when I was a kid. Like I hated the fucking. I saw Batman and Robin in theaters, and I was like, this movie was trash. Like I had anytime we needed to refill our popcorn, I was like, I'll do it. This movie sucks.
Honestly, though, you are an easy sell. You are still an easy sell.
I am.
I hate getting advice from you some of the times because you just love everything. Every time I'm like, Tim, what you think of this story I just made up? I'm like, how about this idea? You never tell me it's a bad idea. You're always like, perfect. I love it. You're great. You're just a yes man most of the time, honestly.
I'm not though. You just have good ideas. And I know that it's not, and I also know it's not like your full idea. It's just something that you're whipping up in your head at the time or whatever. And I know it's just gonna get better once you put more thought into it. So I'm all like, yeah, dude, Nasser, I don't know. Sometimes you might have some bad ideas or some ideas I don't necessarily agree with, and I'm all like, I don't know, fucking, he'll make it better. And then we do talk about that stuff too. Like, I don't always love everything, but if you put it into like a percentage, I probably like 95% of the shit that you write. So
Like, I remember rereading some early scripts I wrote for you for your universe. I think I was maybe like 20 or 25 scripts deep, and then I realized these are all terrible, and I reread them and I remade them all, and I was like, Tim, how'd you ever let these originals fly?
and that was before I knew how good of a writer you were. I thought that was like your fucking peak. And I was all like, you know what, dude, that's not bad for someone like who's just starting writing or whatever. And like, oh, like, it's not bad, you know. And but then, yeah, then I found out I was all like, no, like I was just fucking around with those scripts, dude. These are like, this is what I really can do. And I was like, whoa, really? You were fucking with me the whole time?
Okay. You got to tell me off camera so it doesn't spoil anything for people, but you got to tell me what issue made you go like, whoa, I was just messing with you. But do that off camera. I don't want to spoil anything, especially because none of these are published yet. I'd
probably just say all the reboots, like when you rebooted Night Phantom and Solenoid or whatever. It was like I can say that without spoiling anything. It was all like, whoa, and then and we also had discussions about like what can make it fit better in the universe? What would you do to make it different? And we had discussions about it. And then when you fucking presented the shit, I was like, whoa. And I was like, cool, man, this is way better. You know, and there was some stuff like that I necessarily wouldn't have done myself, but like, and I was all like, oh man, he took one of my ideas, but he didn't make it as good as I wanted it to be. But it's not. I'm not writing it. You're writing it. So you're gonna put your own spin and your own style or whatever on it, and I can't complain with it because it all works, it all fits. There's not a lot of plot holes, and when you do put plot holes in there, you address them in the story. So like it's funny. It's good stuff.
Yeah. But I don't know. Back to movies. I think the last one we just said was like Star Wars, like Episode 1.
That movie sucks.
That whole first episode could have been anywhere from like 5 to 20 minutes max, and then they could have jumped like right into Episode 2.
Yeah. The only redeeming quality of Episode 1 is pod racing. Pod racing seemed like it was so cool, and it came out with a game on PlayStation that was really fun. So
like I don't know, Episode 2 could have been Episode 1, and then they would have had like 2 or 3 more hours of film since they would be getting rid of Episode 1, the original Episode 1. They just made Episode 2 be Episode 1. They could have made those prequels so much better because they were so like condensed. Because like I feel that when they got to like filming like half of Episode 2, when they got to the halfway point, they were like, well, we wasted so much time. We gotta cram everything in now.
Well, they had to make an animated prequel movie that took place in between 2 and 3. It was like, what the fuck?
They're like, I don't know. Instead of making it just the origin of Anakin, they made it like the origin of everything. So they were like, all right, we gotta explain. Now my mind's gonna go blank on me, but they're like, well, I guess showing like the origin of like C-3PO is fine, but it felt like every little thing they were like, we gotta make an origin for everybody when they really didn't need to. That was a cool thing about Star Wars. It was cool that there was a little mystery.
And that's what is making these new ones pretty cool, even though Last Jedi got a lot of hate, and I agree with a lot of the hate that it got, where he's like, you got all these people that are just powerful out of nowhere for no reason. But then, like, Force Awakens was really good. Everyone said it's just a remake of Episode 4, and I'm like, it's supposed to be, because that's what Star Wars is about, dude. Here's
why that complaint is stupid. It's because we had the original trilogy, and then the prequels came out, and I don't know how people reacted at the time of the prequels because I was just a little kid then. I didn't know what Star Wars was.
It was about 50-50.
But like I got older and I got into Star Wars, and I see like I joined like Facebook groups and stuff, and I was like, as soon as I started watching Star Wars when I was like 16 or so, I was like, I love this universe. And I was on the Star Wars high, and everybody's like, I hate the prequels. I'm like, why? And everyone's like, it's nothing like Star Wars. And I was like, all right. Then these new ones come out, and they're all like, it's too much like Star Wars. I'm like, how could it be too much like Star Wars? It is Star Wars.
Yeah, you're watching Star Wars. You want as much Star Wars as possible, dude. Like, and
Yeah, like I don't know. Star Wars fans are never pleased.
I am. I'm always pleased with Star Wars. Even their bad shit, I like. Like, except I don't know. I can do without Phantom Menace, but like I like the two other prequel movies. Like, they weren't bad. Like, they're solid
They weren't
films.
bad. They just could have been better.
And I watched this episode of Dinner for Five. Kevin Smith was hosting. He had Mark Hamill on there. He had Stan Lee on there. He had Jason Lee on there, and someone else, Judd Apatow, I think. And Mark Hamill said for Return of the Jedi, because Mark Hamill just got back from a trip from Japan. He told George Lucas for Last Jedi he wants to have like a top knot and like some sort and like a little braid going down his look, and he wanted the lightsaber battles to be more like how they are in the prequel trilogies, because he's like you can do way more moves or whatever with them, and it'd look way cooler if we can move around like that and do like. And George Lucas is all like, no, dude, the lightsabers are really heavy. Like, it's like carrying a broadsword or whatever, and so it's hard to do moves like that or whatever. So then boom, so he's like, all right, fine, we'll do that. So then he got mad as hell when he saw Episode 2, when you got Hayden Christensen's looking just like how Luke Skywalker said he wanted to look in Empire Strikes Back, and then they're doing the fucking ninja moves with their lightsabers and shit. He's like, what the fuck, dude? That's what I wanted to do in the Ridge Tridge.
Yeah, I don't know. I really do like the cool fights in the prequel.
Yeah,
my biggest
we could have had that. We could have had that in the Ridge Tridge.
My biggest complaints about Star Wars are really just the Phantom Menace and The Last Jedi, but I do have hope for Episode 9. It's not like The Last Jedi was like completely trash. I mean, I did feel like most of the movie was filler, and I do feel like there's like so many things that were wrong. But for the most part, it wasn't so bad. I know a couple complaints are silly, like people are like, "Oh no, we don't know who Snoke was," but in the original trilogy, we didn't know anything about the Emperor.
Yeah.
Because he died, and it's like, oh, that's so cool. So I don't mind that. I do mind like some other stuff. I don't feel like going too much into detail about it now, because we're not focusing on Star Wars. We're focusing on like
bad movies.
But the Episode 7 was phenomenal. Like I only had like a couple very small complaints. That movie was like a 7 or an 8, but this movie I have to give it like a 3 or a 4, honestly. But I still have a hope for the next movie.
I've already heard all sorts of bad reviews for Han Solo.
I meant for Episode 9, not Han Solo.
I know, but I've just already heard a lot of bad reviews for Han Solo. I'm like, the trailer looks good. I don't know, man.
I'm kind of neutral on it, because it didn't blow me away, but it wasn't disappointing.
Yeah, it looked good. That's what I'm saying. It looked decent, and man,
yeah, I'm sure Han Solo is a fine movie.
So there was a really bad movie that I saw in theaters in 1998 or 6, I think. It was the Godzilla movie.
All right.
Oh my god, dude, that was some horse shit.
I've seen part of that. I think
the trailer was really good. Like, I remember seeing the trailer and everything. It was really good. Fucking, you didn't get to see the monster at all. And I remember like the billboard ads or whatever. It would be like his head is as big as this sign and shit like that. So you never got to see the monster. So they were good at marketing and advertising this film. And then the movie came out, and it was this complete fucking horseshit movie. Fucking, I'm mad that I watched it. I'm mad I paid my fucking paper route money to fucking see this movie.
Dude, you know what was a bad movie? You ever seen this movie? It's from, I want to say 2017. I think early 2017. It's called It Comes at Night. It's a horror movie.
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Dude, the trailer looked so cool. I seen the trailer. I was like, this movie is gonna be great because I didn't know what it was. Like I didn't know what kind of thing would be in it, but it looked like super cool. And then when I watched the movie. It was so terrible. It was like, okay, there's something that's like going on, and but they never tell you what it is. But from my understanding, it's kind of like some disease thing, similar to zombies, but not quite. Because you never totally see somebody with the full effects, but the way everyone's acting, you know, there's something going around. So when I was watching the theater, I was like, okay, I'm down for zombies. I like The Walking Dead. And then the movie was terrible. The whole movie was like a storyline I've seen in every zombie movie or whatever. It was one of those things where it's like you find the protagonist, find some other people, and the people end up not being who they say they are, and blah blah. So I don't know. So it was like the protagonist, I don't know, just finds some random people, brings them back to his house. The families like share food, share water, and then I don't know. They all end up like beating each other up, and there was like some cliffhanger thing, or not cliffhanger. There was something that wasn't quite answered in the movie, but when it was it was a terrible movie. And then I actually had I took my mom to see that movie because she likes scary movies, and she liked the trailer, so I took my mom to see it. And after we got out the movie, I was like, "That was terrible." And my mom's like, "Yeah." And then my mom's like, "But if that terrible a movie could get made, then you shouldn't be doubting your stuff, because even if your stuff ends up being bad, you can maybe still get a movie." And I was like, "Thanks, Mom."
Hell yeah, it's good advice. It's honest advice, dude. It's good stuff. You know, like she's like, don't just keep at it. You know. Like,
oh no, it's true though, because it's like that movie we talked about with Clay from 13 Reasons Why, and a bunch of other movies I see, or even shows like Stranger Things, I think is trash, but I see so many bad shows, and it gives me a little hope.
Oh, absolutely.
It really does.
And like we're fans of bad shows. Like we're fans of the Arrowverse and shit, and those are all bad shows. They're not great by any means, but like we're still fans of them. Like
I'm way behind on, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching it. I've seen all of it except like the last like season and a half. But I like The Flash, and The Flash it's not as bad as Arrow, but it's not as good as you would imagine a Flash show could be.
No, I know. Like their best show really is Legends of Tomorrow. That one's the most entertaining. And Black Lightning has been pretty good. I was mad that they didn't have a new episode this week. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like
I don't know. But I don't know. Speaking of like cheesy shows that are kind of bad, Riverdale. I love Riverdale, and there are some good episodes, but for the most part, it's just a cheese fest. It's like, honestly, it's like 5 layers of cheesy.
Oh.
It is such a cheesy show, but I love Riverdale.
It's great, dude. It's great. I keep on joking all the time. I'm waiting for fucking Scooby and the gang to pop up to help them solve mysteries and shit. And I'm all like, yeah, dude, let's do this. Fucking mix in some an Archie and a Hanna-Barbera crossover would be awesome. Like, that'd be just amazing. That would blow my little fucking 10-year-old mind. Like, if I traveled back in time and told my 10-year-old self, like, even though I didn't know much about Archie, but I did have I had Archie comics here and there. Like, my grandma had them at her house. So, like, they're like the thick little, like, the books, but they're kind of thick. And they have like so many different Archie stories. So I read those a lot as a kid. And if you told me like Yogi Bear or fucking the Jetsons or Flintstones, whatever, we're gonna do a crossover with Archie or whatever, I'd be like, oh fuck yeah, dude! Let's do this. I'm ready.
Oh no, didn't get into Archie till I watched Riverdale. I had like 2 old school Archie books laying around that somebody had just given me, so I didn't read them. I just had them laying around. Then my brother had a copy of Afterlife with Archie #1, and I didn't bother to read it because I was like, it's Archie, and I don't really know Archie, and I didn't pick it up. And then I didn't know Riverdale was the place where they lived, so then I had seen people talking about Riverdale, and I looked at the description on Netflix, and it was just like, blah, 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 murder, teenagers, high school, and I was like, well, I like murder, and I like teenage dramas, and it sounded like it was going to be a teenage drama, so I was like, I'll watch it. And I knew the names Betty, Veronica, and Archie. So then my little sister, I told her I was starting it, and she's like, I want to start it too. So then we started watching it, and then I think we see Archie first, and they called him Archie, and I was like, I didn't think anything of it until they said Betty, and then they said Veronica, and I was like, wait, is this the Archie characters? And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, this is the Archie characters. Then after that, I started reading some of the books, and the books are so, like, even cheesier. They're hilarious. Except for, like, the Afterlife with Archie stuff. That stuff is dark, and it's real cool.
Yeah, well, the old Archie stuff is just, like, it was basically, like, Leave It to Beaver type comedy, like, the little, like, the sitcom type stuff, you know? Like, what sort of hijinks are our characters going to get in this week, you know? Like, and...
yeah.
And it was fun, you know, and it lasted for fucking years. Like Archie's probably like the longest running fucking the oldest character that we know of. I think he's older than Superman.
Actually, no, Superman's got him by 3 years, I think. I think Superman was 8. Archie was 1941. But I think there might be, honestly, there might be more copies of Action Comics #1 than of Pep Comics 22. Because, I don't know, it's... Because, okay, Action Comics #1 did sell like a few million copies, I think. I think it was a million copies or something. But, and a lot got destroyed because of recycling for the war and stuff.
Well, then also there was a thing though on Action Comics #1. There was a little thing of you could cut out like a page or whatever. Like there was some little promotional thing they were doing, and and a lot of people did that because at the time they weren't collector's items. They weren't collector's items until they became rare. So.
Yeah, but with Pep Comics, I mean, I don't know. You never even heard of Pep Comics probably till now. Like nobody has, but
I did when you showed me that NerdSync Archie video like last year.
I forget the original name of the Archie company. I think it was like MLJ Publishing or something like that, or JLM, something like that. It was some people's initials, but they had some random titles, and I think Pep Comics was like a superhero title, but it didn't sell that well. But in issue 22, that was the first appearance of Archie and Betty, and I think Jughead as well. Then a little bit later, Veronica came along. But I want to say there might be more copies of Action Comics than there are of Pep Comics.
I think you might be right, but yeah, there was this like they started out with this like Captain America ripoff dude, and like he was like some American gladiator or whatever. I'm in the bathroom. I'm sorry.
Sam, that is so unbelievably awkward, and I cannot believe you just recorded that for an episode.
I had to go. I couldn't hold it. Alright.
Now I feel so awkward, Tim. That's the most awkward thing that ever happened on this show.
Nah.
Anyways, now I don't even know what I wanted to say.
Here's another bad fucking movie. I liked the first two. You got Neverending Story 1 and 2. They're great. Then you got Neverending Story number 3. And it's bad. The only person that's even trying is Jack Black. He's playing one of the bullies. That's the only dude who's fucking making this movie redeemable. But then other than that, dude, you got all this trash. Uh, uh, in the second movie, Bastion's dad finds out that about Fantasia and that it's real and all this other shit. His son wasn't crazy in the first movie. And then in the third movie, Bastion's dad knows nothing about Fantasia anymore. Like he never had his mind never got erased or anything. His dad doesn't know anything about Fantasia anymore. And all I don't know, it's just a bunch of bullshit, dude. Like they weren't following up on any sort of the continuity. And it was bad. And, like all the acting was bad, the writing was bad, everything was bad.
Another bad movie is the first It from the 90s. You've seen it, right?
I saw it when I saw it sometime in the 90s. I was a kid, and I remember it being funny. And my next door neighbor at my dad's house was like, "Oh my god, you gotta see this movie! It's so scary." So I was all like, I watched it, and I was all like, "What part of this movie is scary? Like, what are you talking about?"
Dude, that's exactly what I said. Because my brother had heard about it back before I was into Stephen King. It was maybe 2014 or 2015. My brother was like, "Have you heard about this movie? It's called It. It's about this clown. I guess he kills people." And I was like, "No, never heard of it, but I could try to find it." And then I was looking online, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it in good quality at the time. So I was like, "Well, who cares?" Then later, a few years later, it's probably I forgot if it's 2016. Yeah, it was probably 20. I think he told me about it in 2014, actually, not 2015. And I found it 2 years later in 2016. I found it at some random store for $5. So I bought it, and we ended up watching it. It was the funniest movie I ever seen, because the actors are all terrible and nothing in it is scary.
Yeah, and because of that, I've had no interest to even see the new one. I have not seen the new one yet, and I hear they're coming out with a sequel for it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So but
the new one is great. The new one, it's scary. I mean, the whole time you're just kind of wondering, if you always hear about the clown killing people, how come he just screws around with the protagonists? How come he just scares them and never kills them, and he kills everybody else? But that's besides the point. The new one was actually super scary. It didn't scare me. But it was scary. I could see why people would be scared of the new one. Because it actually made him scary, not like in the 90s one. And the effects were really cool and all that stuff. The new one was great, but the first one just cracked me up.
Oh, man.
The book is
I might check it out. The
book, I actually wasn't a big fan of the book. There was just too much filler. It's 1,500 pages, and most of it is unnecessary. I like Stephen King's writing, but it's just too long of a book.
Well, that's what he does, dude. He just writes really long. Not all of them are, but he just writes really long books.
He writes a few that are really long, but I don't know. I've read Carrie, Gerald's Game, Salem's Lot. I'm almost done with Pet Sematary. They're not very long. Those ones are only 300 to 500 pages. It wasn't It is the size of 3 of those.
Right.
Even 11/22/63 is only 900 pages. It's not close to as long as it was.
He had a book that I think
The Stand is a long one, I think, but I haven't read that.
The Stand. I was a lot of people were telling me about The Stand back when I was in high school, and I was like, I'll check it out. They're like, you really like it? It's about superpowers and all this other shit. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll check it out, and I never have.
I want to Stand. It sounds good.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. I hear nothing but good things about a lot of his stuff, So sometimes I think it's just people just that haven't even read his stuff will be like, oh, you got like yeah, see, like, and then like other people. It's usually like my gothic friends will be like Stephen King, you got to. I'm like, you guys are just dick riding Stephen King, like, but
I'll probably get The Stand, but when it comes to novels, I like to read them one at a time. It's not like with comics, I could read like 10 at a time. So after I finish Pet Cemetery, I have this other novel to read by Joe Hill. I think I already mentioned it, Strange Weather. I got to read Strange Weather. Then after Strange Weather, I might get The Stand.
all right. See, at the time, I was like interested in like reading history, and I was reading a lot of like spiritual type books. I was reading the Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, and then he had a sequel out for that. Now there's like 4 parts to it. There's Celestine Prophecy. There's the Ninth Insight, which is the second one. Then there's the 10th Insight, and then there's the 11th Insight. It's something about Shambhala. Like, all right, these are really cool. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a 5th one because he bases them all about like predictions about like the end of the world, whatever. Like the first one was about going into the year 2000 and how people are gonna transcend their consciousness, they're self-aware of spirituality or whatever. And then jumping into the 4th one, it's about the 2012 fucking predictions, the end of the world and shit. And it's like, and then tell you this is what really happened to the Mayans, how there's like no trace of the Mayans or whatever anymore, like through bloodlines or whatever. It's like they still exist with us today, but they're evolved so much more spiritually or whatever that they're just energy or whatever, and like they're so far advanced that we can't see them anymore, but they still exist with us today.
Okay, my thing is, the world was supposed to end in 2012, and it didn't. But has anybody actually ever felt alive since then? All I hear is crickets. Okay.
I don't know. I was taking a hit of my vape or whatever, but it's like a portable hookah. It's great. I was in Chicago for 2012. I was at a Talib Kweli concert. I don't know if you've ever listened to him. He's a great rapper. My buddy got us in for free because he used to promote for the club that it was at. So like we were at this Talib Kweli concert, and then all my buddies left. They're like, we're gonna go look for some after parties. I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna stay here because I'm a huge fan of Talib Kweli, and we got in there for free. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna leave this show. So I stayed, and then I actually ran into one of my neighbors out there that I grew up with for like most of my life. She was out there. I ran into her. We were partying, and then at the end of the show, my friends come back. We pick me up, and then we're driving around Chicago looking for after parties. It's around like 2 or 3 in the morning, and like the whole fucking city is dead. Like we go to this one location. You could tell there was signs of a party there, but there was like people like sleeping on the floor in the corner, and then there was like this one person that was like just sitting in a fucking stool, like reading a book or whatever. So we leave that part, and then we go to this other location, and we had like we walked through this door. We had to push all these stools aside. And then, like, we go into this staircase, and there's this long-ass line for this fucking party to get into. And we make it, like, halfway through the line. And all of a sudden, this foreign dude just starts causing all sorts of shit. And, like, you guys don't know who I am. You make me wait through the line. And he had, like, 5 fucking women with him. And he's like, I got all these bitches with me. And you make me wait through the line. And so he starts fucking, like, causing the spit. So we're like, let's just go. Like, this party is not going to be worth it if this is the type of crowd that's going to be here. And so we leave. And, like, we're just driving all over Chicago. And it's just dead party after dead party after dead party. And, eventually it's, like, 5 in the morning. And then we just go back to our buddy's house that lives out there. And yeah, it was a crazy night. And yeah, I don't know if anybody's been alive ever since, man. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I know that day in 2012, I think it was like December 21st, is when a bunch of the internet nuts were like, it's gonna end, everything ends today. I was laughing because I think some people were like genuinely concerned, and I was like, y'all are idiots. Like,
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
just in case it did, even though I didn't think it was, just in case it did, I made sure I was gonna live it up, dude. Like I was like, well, I'm gonna see one of my favorite rappers, and I'm on fucking hallucinogenics, so like this is gonna be a great night. Like if the world ends or not, I'm gonna have fun.
So I was just in my room, and I don't know. I was hanging out with my cousin because he was spending the night that day. And it was like 11:59, and I looked at the clock, and I was like waiting for it to turn midnight. And then as soon as it turned midnight and the world was supposed to end, I just started laughing. I was like, I don't know.
It's not gonna run. It's not gonna run on your fucking Midwestern fucking Central Time, dude. It's gonna run on.
Yeah, it was already midnight in some places. I was just laughing because I was like, it's midnight somewhere already. It's about to be midnight here. I was like, all you people that believe this are idiots.
You gotta wait till the whole world goes through the cycle. So it's gonna be midnight last in like Hawaii. So then after that, dude, then it's all like, all right, boom, and then everything blows up. So like you still had, so like if it's midnight in Chicago, you still have like a 4-hour window or like 5-hour window before everything goes to hell.
I guess.
Or it starts at the beginning of the rotation cycle, so like Japan is the first place to get fucked, and then it goes, you know, like.
Well, speaking of like the end of the world, I think every movie that's like an apocalyptic movie, for the most part, like when it's one of those big disaster things, like worldwide flooding or whatever, when it's one of those, it's always stupid, it's always trash. Like the stuff when it's diseases, when it's like a disease, like I don't know, like a zombie disease or something, that stuff's always cool because then it's like, all right, well, how's everybody gonna like survive, you know, in a normal setting, except you can't get the disease. But when it's like worldwide flooding, it's like always the same. It's always some old man scientist looking like Bernie Sanders who's always like, I know what's going wrong, and then nobody wants to listen to him. And everybody's like, you're just a crazy old man, and then he's like, no, I know we're all about to die, and then. I don't know, then you get like the protagonist who, it always starts off, he's having breakfast with his wife and his 2 little kids, and then there's always TV in the background, and like the news is going off about some weird things that have been happening, and then he leaves for work, and then he sees something strange on his drive, and then all of a sudden it starts flooding, and he's trying to find his kids, and then we go back to like the Bernie Sanders dude, and he's like, I told you all, and then they're like, all right, so what's your plan to fix it then, since you already knew, and he's like, plan? I didn't have a plan, and then they're all like, oh, we're screwed. I don't know, it's always some stupid movie like that whenever it comes to the end of the world.
Well, there's this one dude that makes a lot of movies like that, and they're all bad. The same dude made The Day After Tomorrow. He made 10,000 BC. He made 2012. He made a bunch of other bad disaster movies, and they're all bad. But he keeps on making disaster movie after disaster movie, and they're all bad. Like, what are you doing? Stop it. Make something.
Disaster movies are only cool if you put a spin on them, and I think it's kind of bad. I can't think of any that I know put a spin on them, but if you're gonna do like, okay, the whole world gets flooded or explodes, and it's a movie like that, at least make that part be the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then the whole rest of the movie could be like, okay, now what happens? Everybody gets on planes or spaceships to avoid dying on Earth, and then you could have this whole unique movie about them setting off to find some other place where they could all live. But no, it just has to be the same movie every time of some Bernie Sanders scientist that nobody listens to, and like, I don't know, some protagonist who's always like an ex-marine or something. He's always like an ex-marine or some cop or something, and like the whole movie is just about this dude trying to find his family. Like, I'm tired of that. Like, I don't know. You can make some cool sci-fi flick about like everybody's trying to leave Earth because it's dying, and they could just go off trying to find some new planet or something. It doesn't even have to be a sci-fi thing. It could just be something different. Just something different besides the basic like end of the world type movie.
My favorite in those type of end of the world type movies is when the protagonist has nothing to do at all. Like it kind of makes sense to bring in a Bernie Sanders scientist and some ex-military guy, but then sometimes in these movies you just have like some average Joe family man, like just like a dad, like, or like maybe like back in the day he did some like science or whatever in college or whatever, but since then he's been just like when they bring in those characters as the main protagonist, that's the type of shit that makes me want to like flip my fucking table over and like, what the fuck, who is this guy? And it's always played by someone either really dorky or really handsome. So it's like, whatever, dude, like, whatever, fuck it, I guess.
I don't know, man. I really hate those like end of the world movies.
I'm really excited for Rampage. It was one of my favorite video games growing up. And now they're making a movie out of it, and the fucking Rock is in it, and the what?
I said, "Oh, is that what it is?"
Yeah,
I didn't know that was like a video game.
Yeah, it's an old arcade video game, dude. With all about these monsters, you control the monsters, and you just fucking destroy the fucking towns. You destroy like Las Vegas. You destroy the whole fucking country. And then I think when they came out the one for GameCube, I think you destroyed the whole fucking world. And so like, yeah, they're fucking. It's a game that's monsters that are. It's about you. The monsters are supposed to be the good guys because you control the monsters and you just destroy everything. But
okay. You know what's gonna be like a real sad one because I love this character, but you know what movie I really didn't like? I couldn't even finish it.
What?
I think you already know. Let's see if you can guess, Tim.
Gremlins?
No, Spawn.
Oh,
Spawn
man.
movie.
Spawn movie was, like, I liked it as a kid. I saw it in theaters. I was like, this movie's going to be the shit. Because I was a huge Spawn fan. Like, me and my buddy collected the toys. We didn't read much of the comics, but we collected the toys. And fuck that movie. Like, it blew our mind. We were excited. We had the clown in there. And then he turned into the Violator, and we were like, yeah. Like, it had everything you wanted as a kid seeing it. That was a Spawn fan in the 90s. But then when you go back and watch it, dude, that movie does not hold up at all.
I don't know. Like, at first, I'd always loved Todd McFarlane's art, but I never read much of his stuff. And I always see people talking about Spawn, young people, old people, but especially the people that were like collecting in the 90s and stuff when Spawn came out. They're like, yeah, I still read Spawn. I have every issue since he came out. And I'm like, well, okay, Spawn must be good. So like, I got this paperback that has like the first 50 issues in it. I'm probably only like 18 issues in, I think. I really like it, but I started to read it, and I was like only on the first issue. I'm like, dude, I love Spawn. I was like, how have I been sleeping on this? And I just been busy. That's why I've been behind on it because college and stuff. But
yeah.
I don't know. I really liked it. So after like I don't know 5, 6 issues, I was like, all right, I got to turn on this movie. So then I was like, forgot if it's Netflix or Hulu, but I turned on the movie. I only got 20 minutes in and I quit. I was like, I can't stand this.
No, dude, you got to watch the whole thing. But what's really good is HBO in the 90s put out a Spawn animated series. It's like 6 episodes.
I think that's on Amazon Prime now. I might be able to watch that.
Those are really good. It's the same voice actor that does Goliath from the Gargoyles cartoon that does Spawn. And anytime he's also the president in Rick and Morty when Rick and Morty are in that fight in the last episode of season 3.
That's funny.
He's that same voice actor. And every time he voice acts in anything, dude, I fucking love him. He's really good. And so he plays Spawn, and he's really dark. And, oh, my, those shows are really good. It's 6 episodes, dude. You can fucking, I think they're all like an hour long, though. But it doesn't matter, dude. It's fucking Spawn. You could blow through that real quick.
Dude, did Did you watch that video of the Image Expo from like a day or two ago of all the new Spawn announcements?
I didn't. No, I didn't yet.
Dude, there's so much cool stuff going. The one thing that blew my mind was I seen they have like this. They're gonna have this digital thing. I forgot what issues it's gonna be for. But they're gonna have like these Spawn issues where it's a normal digital copy of the book, but then they have like the Spawn like skulls at the top of each page, and then you can pull it down, and you pull down one of them, and you can see the script. Then you pull down the other one, you see the pencils, and then you pull down the next skull, and you see the ink, and then the next one, you see the colors. Then you pull down the final one, it goes back like fully lettered. Although that blew my mind.
That's cool.
There was like 5 different Spawn projects they announced. So there's going to be like a medieval Spawn and Witchblade crossover miniseries. I don't know if you ever read the Spawn Kills Everybody one shot. It was only from like a couple years ago, but they're going to do like a miniseries of that.
Nice.
Some characters getting a spin-off. There's going to be a new Sam and Twitch miniseries. I think there's like one other thing I'm forgetting.
I bought an Image title today.
What's it called?
There was 2 issues out for it. I don't, fuck, let me go find them. They're in my backpack. I'm gonna walk with us. I'm walking here. I'm walking. Let me go find, alright, down to the basement. Opening the book bag. I bought a bunch of bags and boards today too, because I need to get back on that. They started at my comic book store. They started a punch card system. So every $10 you spend, you get a punch, and then 10 punches, you get a $10 gift card. It's called Nick Wilson. The Further Adventures of Nick Wilson. I bought 1 and 2 of that today.
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I've read that.
He looks like, it looked like me on the cover, like some dude just sitting around fucking watching TV and drinking and smoking and shit. I was like, I might be into that.
The creative team.
Huh?
Who's the creative team?
Oh man, I gotta go back and look at it.
That's no big deal.
No, I don't mind moving around. I need to just get more active in my fucking winter life. The cover says Gordeski and Draco, Sadowski, Hi-Fi, A Larger World, and Denton.
Only name I recognized was Hi-Fi. I don't know. I see like Hi-Fi on like 10 different titles every month. I'm like, when does he sleep?
Hi-Fi color design. Yeah. Oh, damn, there's 2 covers. I need to get the second cover.
Yeah. Well, we got like 10 minutes left before I gotta go. So any other terrible movies you want to discuss?
Not off the head.
Yeah, same.
I'm gonna probably just get back to writing this reject squad before I go do this job interview at 4.
Alright, so is that so we're off the road now? Even though we're already off the road?
That's how I was gonna close it. It's not like, although we were already really there, we're off the road.
Stole your thunder.
See you next week.